You do.
Work stuff, meetings, all that sort. How about you?
Um, yeah, pretty much the same. I just didn't have any meetings because we're about to go into tier three, baby.
Yep.
Let's go. That's the
Yep.
best tier.
Mm, yeah. I
Um,
don't know how to segue from that. I really don't. What
with
what
so many
happened?
thoughts. I'm gonna come and see you tomorrow,
Yeah.
obviously. So I had to I was thinking, should we just do one together or should we do one today and then another one while I'm there? So I thought, let's do one today, innit? Got
Hmm.
so much to talk about, don't we?
Plenty.
So, um, yeah. So since the last podcast, obviously we spoke about several sports, but I think today is just mainly football
Yeah.
because there's been no other sports, just football, just Champions League. There's a
Yeah.
I mean, not a bit of controversy, quite a large amount of controversy in the midweek.
Hmm.
So midweek Champions League game, it was on a Tuesday. Chelsea were playing at the same time, so I wasn't watching it. But it was PSG versus Istanbul Basaksehir, and there was an incident about 30 minutes in or 20 minutes in, involving the referee and the fourth official. The fourth official was telling the referee to book someone on the Istanbul bench, um, and the referee, the on field referee, went to book whoever it was, um, and in their native tongue, in Romanian, he pointed at um, someone on the bench and referred to him by his color. And going by what the translation goes on BT and RMC, um, it suggested that the fourth official asked the referee to book the black player. So he referred to the player by his skin color, which obviously caused a lot of outrage. Um, it kind of erupted from there on. The game stopped completely. The the player that he was referring to came off the bench, and I don't think he was the player. I think he was like an assistant or something. Came off the bench, and he asked him why. And in Romanian, in their mother tongue, they refer to black as what we think of as the N word. So unfortunately, there might have been miscommunication or misunderstanding, but the more I looked at it, the more it kind of made sense, why they were kind of outraged. Um, Demba Ba came off and he was furious, absolutely furious. He goes, "You wouldn't refer to a white player as that white guy, so why are you referring to a black player as that black guy?" And that makes perfect sense. If someone referred to me as that brown guy, and I was amongst people with people of different origins and backgrounds of life, I would feel offended. It's not the way to address someone, and rightly so. They walked off the field. No one really knew what was going to happen from there on, and it just sparked a huge kind of conversation across Europe. And they said this was probably one of the most important moments football's ever seen, in terms of handling racial injustice and racism in football. There were a lot of opinions. Mika Richards and John Barnes, they both came out and said that it wasn't racist and he isn't a racist. But as far as having an opinion about it, I think if someone referred to me as the brown guy, I would feel quite offended because I don't want to be seen, and referred to by my color. Though I'm proud of it, I don't want to be seen and referred to by my color, especially not in a sporting event. So caused a lot of controversy. Obviously, I think UEFA have already started the investigation. Um, Neymar, Marquinhos, Mbappe, they were all fighting on Demba Ba and Istanbul Besiktas side, and hopefully this gets resolved and there's a resolution, and maybe there's something positive to come out of it in terms of education and going forward. But this was seen as one of the most crucial moments in football for this topic, specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pivotal. Just what was it? It's been the last 2 years, I think, where they've crack down a bit more on racism and campaigns stopping racism. And of course, with the whole BLM as well, there's also been the at the beginning of matches, kneeling and stuff. So this is another key moment in football that could impact the world as well.
Absolutely. I think I ask myself, why in 2020 are we still having this conversation about what is racist and what is offensive? I feel like by now people should understand those elements. There's the internet, there's education. You can just click on Google and find out what you should and shouldn't say. It's as simple as that. But the fact that we still have to, talk about it, it is unfortunate. And, being a person of Indian origin myself, I've personally never faced any sort of racism, and no one's ever kind of discriminated against me because of my color. But at the same time, like, I completely understand that it absolutely exists, and it's unfortunate that it does exist. I think then, I think that I don't think particularly that we're moving slow in terms of overcoming it, but I just think there should be more to be done. You know, the I remember when there was a problem that Chelsea fans had with saying the Y word in reference to
Mm-hmm.
people of Jewish origin because of their association with Tottenham Hotspur. People refer to that club as the Y word, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, the Roman Abramovich and Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots and the New England Revolution soccer team, they put together a charity match to raise funds towards that went towards those organizations that fought racial injustice against Jewish people and stuff. So I think little things like that, and it's not a little thing, but it's that things like that really help in educating and making people understand the importance of just don't be a shitty person. It's not difficult to understand what goes and what doesn't go. But yeah, I think, like you said, it was a pivotal moment. I think there's going to be a lot more that's talked about surrounding this, in the future.
I think that this is especially important because if it happens at a low league or something, the club will deal with it or something like that. But this is a Champions League game and it's UEFA. I think UEFA looks so bad in this case, but they have an even bigger opportunity now to make it right as well with the conclusion of their investigation. And I think that they can lead by example, how to deal with this. The fact is that if you're a referee at that level, at a Champions League level, there's no ways you slip up and do anything that could cause that amount of controversy. So it's clearly something that UEFA have to look at and lead by example. What needs to be done to
Yeah.
follow a path that others can say we're proud of this move, of this way that they are following.
Yeah, I think that the positive that of what happened that day is seeing international superstars, guys
Mhm.
with sponsorship contracts, and they have a lot at stake, so they don't want to necessarily perform actions that would put those in jeopardy. But
Mhm.
to see Kylian Mbappe and Neymar and Marquinhos and all these guys, PSG as a club, to come out so strongly and condemn that the action of that fourth official,
Yeah.
it really shows that these players, and it's not just in football but in basketball, in NFL, anywhere, they're coming together, they're actually making a stand against it, an active stand against it. And like I said, they have so much at stake. They have everything to lose if their sponsors don't like what they do, if they feel they're too controversial or outspoken. But
Mhm.
you have to say Nike, Adidas, all these companies as well. They've come together and they've identified that there is a problem, and they've seen that they have a platform to bring about change. So I think what happened that day, however unfortunate it was, and there has to be a lot of work that gets put into to eradicate those kind of moments. But I think that we're moving in a very good direction. We have so many black players and Asian players and people from different walks of life and backgrounds in this one beautiful game. And like I said, not just football, but every sport, and they're speaking out against it. And I think that's so wonderful that we've come to a point now where it's now not cool to be the guy that is a racist or says something offensive, that is, discriminatory and think that it's okay, because it's just not okay anymore. And I'm not really. This is probably the most I've ever spoken about this on this subject in my life, because me personally, like I said, I've never gone through it myself, so I've never had an opportunity to actually speak out about it. But I think I think what people can learn is that we're in a different time now, and we have flipping, I don't know, 50, 100 views a week. If even one person takes something away from this and understands the importance of what we're talking about and makes a difference, I think more people need to do this and connect with the reality and the society of life, and hopefully we can move forward into a positive light.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
but no, it is good. It's important topic to talk about. So yeah,
no, I'm glad we talked about it. I think it is important to talk about. It is a beautiful game, and our just to kind of segue into that while staying on topic, I think it was a really good Champions League week. Everyone got to know their opponents, their potential opponents for the knockout stages. I just want to talk about Chelsea. We played Krasnodar, who we beat 4-0 in Russia at their ground. And to go from that to what happened in our game was, I legit almost fell asleep again. It happened against Spurs, and it happened against Krasnodar now. I almost fell asleep. It was one of the most drab games I've seen in hours.
I mean, the early interest I had youngsters who got the opportunity. So
yeah, so okay, we can talk about them real quick. What did you think?
I think they were the. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask what you. I want to get onto Anjorin after, but what do you think of Billy Gilmour? He unfortunately suffered an injury last season, at the end of last season, which kept him out for several months, and then he recovered a few weeks ago, played for Scotland. He was on the pitch for about 10 minutes and then got sent off with 2 yellow cards in quick succession. Bit of a hothead, that boy, but I thought he was quite decent, man. And I'm not his biggest fan. I think he has a lot of developing to do, but every time I watch him, he just looks like he's been playing for ages.
I'm not going to say he's on that level by any means, but you get a bit of Iniesta vibes. The way that he is so quick to react, when he's getting pressed and he receives the ball and where he distributes it to, it's exciting. It makes you want to think that he can reach that level at least. But I'm not going to, of course, compare them. One an absolute legend, one potentially in the making if possible. I'd really be very grateful for that.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, it was fun to watch him. I think it was good to see him back in the team.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what it is about him that I just can't see him reaching. And I know I'm definitely going to be wrong about this, but he just doesn't look silky enough. It's so hard because he does look silky, but at the same, do you know what I mean? Like,
is it because he's a little guy? Because
I think his frame makes him look very amateur.
Yeah.
But then he does things on the ball that are not amateur, that are very professional and are of a very high level.
I get what you mean. He seems like just a kid that you just play at the park with or something like that. But he is so good in terms of what he does, and he's not afraid to tackle as well. He'll go for it. That's what I think. That's one of the reasons why it's he's able to prove himself, even if others underestimate him.
Where do you think his position will eventually be?
I think where Kante is right now.
So you think he'll be... Okay, so we know he doesn't... Well, he hasn't been able to display, but he doesn't have the defensive potential ability of N'Golo Kante. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
does.
I think it's very dependent on the play style, but I think that is the position. We'd have to change the play style for him specifically, but I think that would be his position. I mean, he could go either, on either side of the midfield as well. He could be on the left or the right. But I think that that holding midfielder pivot point is where he'll be able to dictate play and that's where the ball will go through him mainly.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to see more of him because I know people absolutely love him. They think, the world of him. They think he has world-class potential. And not just fans, but, Roy Keane, I think, I forget which game it was, but he said, Billy Gilmour, it was the Liverpool game in the FA Cup last season. And hands down, fantastic performance. And Roy Keane obviously said he looked like a world-class player.
Full of praise.
For Roy Keane to say that, he was either taking the mick or he was absolutely serious. But I've never known Roy Keane to take the mick in that context. But
yeah, especially of a youngster like that.
Yeah, and he's not very complimentary of many players as it is. He absolutely slates Pogba when he gets the opportunity. Sorry, that's Graham Souness. Sorry,
yeah.
But I need to see more of Gilmour, whether that's at Chelsea or on loan to another club. I really want to see what people see in him. I just can't see it right now.
I've come across some rumors that Stevie G wants him at Rangers on loan.
Well, isn't that where he came from? He came to Chelsea from Rangers for, I think it was like £500,000.
Yeah, he wants him back on loan. I
Decent.
mean, it'd be some good playing time for him to develop as well, I guess.
It's not a bad team either. Rangers looking to win the title. Gerrard seems to be playing good football with them, so I wouldn't be against that move. And I think Lampard himself has kind of strayed away from that question of will Billy go out on loan in January.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he needs a loan. He needs good game time, and he needs an opportunity to showcase what he can do and kind of build his portfolio up, kind of thing. But like I said, I really want to see what yourself and everyone else sees in him, because I just can't see it. But I'm sure there's something there. Otherwise, they wouldn't spend that much time on him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You just have to see more of him then. That's all you can do.
Yeah. So the other player that obviously we had on the pitch was Tino Anjorin. Now, this is a player that I'm crazy about. I think he's fantastic, phenomenal, super, just a player that I can watch for hours. I think he's really, Bayern Munich signed another Chelsea youngster by the name of Jamal Musiala. Very similar player to Thomas Muller, kind of plays off the striker just behind him. And I think Tino Anjorin is very similar. And I think the academy and the club looked at us, saw Musiala and Anjorin and decided, we have a better player in Anjorin potentially. And I have to say I completely agree, but he's not been given a clear shot at the first team. I think he's one of those players that needs a bit of time to settle in and adjust. But I thought he was decent. Technically his touch was really good. He's quick to find a pass and progress the ball.
Showed a bit of skill as well.
Showed a bit of skill. He played out wide as well, which is not his normal position, which I think will be, significant going forward, because, if he wants to make this team, he'll have to find his best position and kind of play well in it, because we've seen Mason Mount and Kai Havertz adapt to the midfield roles, the midfield roles where, they have to do a bit of defending and be more involved in the build up. So, it will be interesting to see how that plays out. I can see him going on loan. Certainly, we have plenty of players that play in his position, obviously. So, but I thought he was really bright, and he didn't do himself any injustice by with his performance. So yeah, what do you think of him?
For your first Champions League game, I think that he performed quite well. He made an impact. He wasn't just quiet. He got involved in the game, and that was good to see. So I think he enjoyed himself, and he got to test. He got to test the levels of the Champions League in general. So I think it was a good start for him. I didn't think too much of the way he played. I didn't think he was phenomenal or anything because I didn't expect him to be, and at the same time, I don't think that he showed that kind of maturity that you get from a Christian Pulisic, in terms of what he would do in the game, for example. But that's a different kind of comparison because obviously a different position.
I think it's difficult, coming into the Champions League your first game of the season, and performing, like the world's watching. I think that it's difficult to do that for as a young player coming from the academy. You're desperate to kind of showcase what you can do. Some players can do it very, very well. It doesn't always work out. Some players can do it. Other players, they aren't able to perform at their best when they're brought in for one of their few appearances, but they go on to have a great career with the club. So it's too early, obviously, like you said, to judge a player like that. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I'm not going to be critical of his performance because I think he had a pretty decent game. So yeah.
Okay.
But there was actually another youngster, I guess you could still call him, Kai Havertz. What did you think of his performance?
Youngster. I forget how young he is.
Yeah.
I think Kai is one of those players where he hasn't set the stage alight and he hasn't done anything to suggest that he's one of the best young players in the world. He did a lot of that last season and the season before at Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
But, Frank said it himself. He has no doubts Kai's going to reach the very top and he's going to be one of the best, not just young players, but one of the best players in the world. And I have to agree, for what he's able to do, I don't think what he's done this season represents all of that. And we sometimes, as fans and as people that commentate on the game, on football, we fail to see the factors that go behind a poor performance or an average performance, or an average start to a player's career at a club. Just things like, at 21, you move house, your environment has completely changed, the language completely changes, the food is different, the water is different. You can have budding problems that aren't resolved, and I think those all matter a lot when it comes to your mental space and how much you're able to access mentally when you're doing your professional work, when you're doing your job. I'll put it quite plainly. If I were tomorrow to move to Germany, let's say, and I had a job waiting for me, so let's switch me and Kai. So if I was going to Germany and I had a job waiting for me, and I was very excited about it, but I was also nervous at the same time because I don't know anyone there. I know, there's going to be a complete change in culture, right from going to the supermarket, whatever, to the weather and all that kind of stuff. So I think no one really gives those things a thought. So if I perform badly in my job, I don't think it's because I'm bad at what I'm there to do. I think it's because I'm not able to mentally access myself 100% at that time. And I think that's a bit of what Kai is going through at the moment. He's not fully focused on what he's doing. And then you add that to, he's obviously joined a new team. He's got new teammates. He's playing role. He's playing with a new club. He's playing in different stadiums. And for people to label him as an average player or a flop, as some people are already calling him, I think it's crazy. And it's a mark of I think disrespect also to the game, where these
Ignorance.
players, it is very ignorant. These
Yeah.
players work their socks off. And
Yeah.
when we criticize them, and I'm flipping effing and jeffing at the TV at them every single week, people like me, and fans just generally, we don't take into account, them as people, them as human beings. I think if it doesn't work out with Kai, and it will, and there's absolutely no doubt it will, but if it doesn't work out with Kai, it's not because he's a bad player. It's because he wasn't able to adapt or adjust. So despite all of that, and come back to your question, I still think he's been very good this season. And I
Yeah.
think his performances have been very underrated, because what people have been expecting of us, they have directly correlated that with individual players. So they're expecting Timo Werner to score 30 goals this season. They're expecting Kai Havertz to provide 20 assists this season. They're expecting Ziyech to put a 45 combined goal and assist record. And we start making it a bit unrealistic because of statistics. But I think we just need to chill out, take a step back, and kind of enjoy the journey and let these players settle in, adapt. And I know, non-Chelsea fans have no mercy. They'll go ham on anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone can get that smoke.
Even when they do well, like get 3-0, get a hat trick.
They'll say it was Barnsley, so it wasn't great, but it is what it is. But I love the game, and as Patrice Evra says, I love this game, and I want him to do well. I want Chelsea to do well, and as a matter of fact, I want every new signing that arrives at a new club, whether it's Man United or I don't know, Juventus or whatever. I want them to do well, because it's great when a player is able to showcase their ability. And same with Kai. It will, like I said, no doubt it's going to happen for him, no doubt.
Yeah.
So that was an extended version of my answer.
Oh, good job.
I thought he was all right.
It was really captivating.
But I thought he was all right.
Yeah. Well, you said though, it does raise a really good question, and that is when you mentioned that if you switch roles with Kai Havertz and you went to Germany, I think my question is what position would you play?
I'd play currywurst, mate.
You play what?
Currywurst.
Why do I even bother?
Nah, what position would I play? Bruv. Be striker in it, number 9. Shout out to my guy Ronaldo. Not that one. That one.
That one. The Ronaldo.
Feel me.
Yeah.
Bruv, what I would give, I wish I had the life of a number 9. Oh my days, bruv. Imagine every 3 days being the main guy. Everyone's relying on you to score and win these games and be a legend. Oh, nothing better, honestly. You can have all your tricky players or whatever, but a proper number 9 striker, guy that wins games, that must be the life, honestly.
Yeah. Get to grab all the glory, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. I was just in my element right there. I was picturing myself as Ronaldo Nazario.
Your voice changed. I could tell that you were in that zone as well.
Trust me, man. I grew up on some great strikers. From the Champions League episode, I was thinking, I remember seeing all these guys in their prime, man.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun to watch these players. But just to kind of combine that subject matter of Kai, I remember Jose Antonio Reyes, who played for Arsenal.
Yeah.
He left, and the reason was because he didn't like playing in the rain. And it's flipping hilarious, like now.
Yeah.
But at the time, like there was no social media, nothing. Well, there must have been so many things that went on behind the scenes in terms of like players adapting to their environment and that sort of thing. So yeah, man, I hope every player does well. I hope every player feels comfortable and adjust and feels good about what they do for a living, because they're a lot luckier than football fans are, for sure.
That was actually very nice of you.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling quite philosophical tonight. I have to play some LL Cool J and close my eyes for a bit.
Okay. Just feel the vibes. We've completed our group stage now.
We have, and we're group winners.
Right, we are group winners, and there are some really strong teams that have also, won. Well, they've come first in their groups as well.
Yep.
What do you think of the potential opponents that we have that have come second in their groups?
I'm about to tell you who they are, and it doesn't look very pretty.
Yeah.
So I'll go from in terms of who I think is an easier opponent to the most difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So, number one, Porto. They would be the most ideal in my opinion. I don't think we should make it more of a problem. I don't think we can make a problem out of that fixture, although where Chelsea will find a way. But Porto, and then Atalanta, who are managed by Gasperini, very attractive side to watch. They play some really good football, play three at the back. Again, it is a team that I feel we can overcome, and we can do better than.
Mm-hmm.
So Atalanta is another one. Then there's Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'm gonna roll with this name, bro. Ugh, I'm too
Is
good.
it München or München?
Mönchengladbach. That team, very good team. On the front foot, not as great defending. So I think it's another team that we should be able to overcome. But like I said on a previous one, I think their manager is brilliant. I think he's got great ideas, and I'd love to see Lampard go head to head with him. I think it'll be an interesting matchup, that one. But yeah, if it's not those three, then there's Lazio, managed by, I want to get this right, I think it's Simone Inzaghi. I think so.
Yeah.
Because his brother is Pipo, and he used to play for Milan. But yeah, this is Inzaghi's Lazio. Really good team. I think they've got some really good individual players. They've got Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, some other really good players.
Ciro Immobile.
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 Get it right, my guy.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
But yeah.
Me with my English accent saying an Italian name.
Sticking my pinky out while I'm drinking my wine. But yeah. So Lazio, not decent side, more attacking, but obviously Italian. So you'd like to think that they know what they're doing defensively. And then RB Leipzig. I said Leipzig on the last one. I want to rectify that. I know what it is. It's Rasenball Sport Leipzig.
Why are you so international?
I'm an international guy. I'm telling you, bro.
Mr. International, Mr. Worldwide,
yeah. Mr. 305. Dali.
I actually think they'll be pretty tough to face if we do face them, Leipzig. I'm surprised.
Yeah. They're definitely one of the top three sides, which I'm about to complete as well. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah,
and at
least above Sevilla.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They are a really good side. You can't be looking forward to facing them. They're sponsored by Red Bull, and generally speaking, Red Bull love high energy, high intensity within their teams, whether it's F1 or football, and that's exactly what Leipzig are. They're a high intensity team that love to not just counter, but they move so quickly, and they're so similar in terms of Lampard's ideas. Press, react quick, and there would be I think a very dangerous side for us to get that early on. So let's see. Again, it would still be interesting, because I still feel there is a way that we can beat them. Over 2 legs, especially. I don't think they're impossible to beat. But yeah, so let's see what happens with that.
Mhm.
And then there's you can take a pick because Atletico Madrid, top of the La Liga, and Barcelona, who only an idiot would have to bet against Barcelona. So that I mean, those are our possible opponents. Out of Atletico and Barcelona, who do I prefer playing against? I have to say Atletico. I just feel Barcelona with the Messi factor are far more dangerous, even though they're not, top of the league. But over 180 minutes has to be Atletico that we prefer over Barca.
Yeah, though they're
Yeah,
not in form, there's still a few weeks till the next match. So I think Barcelona could easily regain their form in that time, and they just have such amazing individual players. I mean, Atletico do as well, but you can't help but be so mindful of how dangerous Barcelona can be as soon as they catch form. So yeah, I think for me as well, it would be Atletico and then Barca is number one.
So yeah, I mean that completes the kind of list of potential opponents. I don't think it's crazy that we finally get beyond the round of 16 this time. I think we have what it takes to overcome any of those sides on our day, and if we're playing good football at the time and when we're injury free.
Yeah,
So hopefully we can come out of that on top.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that we do have the potential to beat any of those teams if we're you know without injury, as you said, and if we really put our minds to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But talking about just something closer to, time wise, closer to us, we've got Everton this weekend. Um, I wanted to pick your brain on what you think of them and how you think we're set up to face them at the moment. Obviously, Lampard is going up against his old boss, Carlo Ancelotti, and it should be for me quite a cracker. Everton have been playing some decent football. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, their striker, has been on fire this season. Aerially very good, and he'll be up against Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva, who have, I think, the best aerial defensive record in the league this season. It'll be, player for player, will be a really good matchup. I think they play a similar system as well. They play Hammers and Decore in midfield with Alan anchoring.
Yeah.
So it should be a very interesting game. What are your thoughts on it?
Is Alan's not injured now, is he?
No, he's good.
How's he performing? Being
Pretty
honest.
well, pretty decent. Yeah, I think they've dropped off a bit as a team, but I think individually, like they've still. I mean, Alan's been decent.
Yeah.
Hammers dropped off a bit, but yeah, I mean, you were saying on Alan.
Yeah, they have a great manager who's got a good system, and they've got great players as well. So you know, uh, Chelsea really need to be mindful of that. But as you said as well, they haven't been completely on form either. Started off the season with a big bang. I think they were top of the table for a bit, but they've slowly come down a bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to face them. They're not at the peak of their powers at the moment, and
Yeah,
um, I don't think we are either. I don't think we're playing our best football at the moment. So I don't think it's the worst time for us to be facing them. Um, but I mean, it does hold a lot of significance, this fixture. We're playing at Goodison Park, where we lost last season. A lot has changed since then, obviously. Um, but it will be interesting to see how they line up against each other and take each other on. I think, it was nice to see. I watched a press conference, and it was nice to see Lampard acknowledge Carlo as one of the most influential figures in his career, and
yeah,
it kind of took me back to that time of when they were together at the club,
got the double.
and won the double as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it'll be nice to go up against him. I'm sure he's looking forward to it as well. But yeah, I mean, team wise, we are only down by Ziyech and Hudson Odoi, I think.
okay.
Pulisic,
Maybe return.
sorry.
Pulisic made a return from his hamstring
Yeah,
injury.
I think Pulisic's okay. I think Lampard said that he's just aware of his hamstring. Not
Yeah.
not that it was damaged, but I think he's just being careful with it going forward, which I completely get. You know, you do need to. These kind of explosive players need to be taken care of and monitored properly, and they have all the science available to them. They
Hmm.
have all the fitness. Staff around him that can give him the closest possible information. But ultimately, you need to just have a bit of logic and think: can a human being perform and be that explosive on a regular basis every game
Hmm.
without getting injured? And the answer is obviously no. Obviously, they can't. So if he didn't play against Everton, I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be upset. I think if he came on in the second half, this is just a personal point of view. I think if he came on in the second half and there was a result to achieve, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But starting wise, I think we need to be wary of how good they are. Their fullbacks are very good. Their wingers, Richarlison and I forget now, but they have a lot of speed in their side. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see how we set up. But what would the team you'd put out?
Goalkeeper and defense, same as it's been so far. Mendy, Chilwell, Zuma, Thiago Silva, Reece James.
Yeah, that back five select themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kante as
Hmm.
DM. Mason Mount, and I'd go for Kovacic as well.
Really, you would leave out
Midfield.
Kai?
Yeah, I think Kovacic has he is performing, I think, better than Kai at the moment.
Do you think he'd be able to kind of control possession, better than Kai does?
Yeah, more about getting possession back and what he does best, which is driving the ball forward as well. I think that's what he will be able to do pretty well.
That's interesting. I think 1v
So,
one definitely like midfield battles because they'll
mm,
probably line up in a three as well. But midfield battles wise, you might be spot
yeah,
on there because Kovacic 1v1 can get out of difficult situations. He can dribble his way instead of panicking and giving the ball away. But
yeah,
and I think he's been very good recently as well. I didn't I didn't give him his credit recently, but I think he's been decent, man.
yeah. I think he had a shaky start to the season, but he's got back into it again, back into the
Yeah.
groove.
Me personally, I'd go with Kai because I think Kai provides several options,
Hmm.
not just from midfield, but I think in the final third as well. I think he's excellent. I think
Yeah,
he's a player that will probably do well in a game like this, and to support the striker, or I think we've missed that definitely. But
the only
Kovacic.
issue is that the only issue is that I haven't really seen Kai getting into those kinds of positions too often where the ball has found him.
Yeah, he's kind of playing as a number eight, as a Lampard-esque number eight who
Hmm.
links play up between the fullback and the right winger and
Yeah,
makes his way into the box or plays around the box. And I think if he just attack the box more and attack the goal more,
yeah,
he'd be more useful. But I think he has more of that potential than Kovacic at present. Although I know Kovacic has played some really good key passes
yeah. He has.
lately. But
Yeah,
either way, I mean, not too fast. I think whether it's Havertz or Kovacic, they're going to both benefit the team. Both really
definitely.
good players. So, but I think yeah, like you said, Mason Mount for me at this point, he's one of the first names on the team sheet for what he does. I don't want to wax lyrical about him today because I could go on for hours. But yeah, so that's midfield. Who'd you go up front? Who'd you go with up front?
Giroud, the striker.
Okay, big shout.
Um, the fact that Callum is injured, Ziyech is injured, and Pulisic, I think that he won't be able to start him. I don't. I think it's too risky to start Pulisic. So I think that he may put Kai as a right wing.
Let me propose something. Would you like to see Mason on the wing?
No,
Mason and Werner.
no, I can't do that to myself again. I think Mason is too good at where
So
he plays.
you put Havertz out wide.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what would be best.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And Werner on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a FIFA game, but would you put Reece James on the right and put Aspie at right back? Like just to kind of see how you see football.
Yeah. I think the reason why Ziyech and Reece James work so well is because I think so. Reece James overlaps Ziyech, and that's why that system works. I think with Aspie and Reece, they'd have to work it out what position where they want to be when they want to cross the ball. What time is it that they want to run? I don't think that they would have that kind of understanding so well right now. I mean, they may, but I don't think that they will at this point because Reece is not used to being in that right wing. He's used to running past Ziyech.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think if you have an attacking player that can play out wide, just play him there. And then if it doesn't work, you can change it up. You can change the system, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's a decent enough team. And and you go with Werner on the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Werner on the left. We don't have in my opinion, you can't play Pulisic. You can't start him at this rate because if he picks up an injury, then it's even worse. At least if he, comes on in the second half, you have some sort of idea that he'll be fine.
Yeah.
As it's closing off and there's less energy from the other team, less pressure from them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Well, I still think that's a good enough team to beat Everton, who, like I said, aren't on top of their game right now, but we shall see. It should be interesting, and we're going to watch it together.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, Saturday night, 8:00.
Saturday night, 8:00.
I will be there.
Just to make a quick mention, I think last podcast I mentioned that the Champions League game would be at Tuesday, and you called me a fake fan, and you said that it was on Wednesday, but I was completely correct. So I'd just like to call you out on that.
I knew you were going to do this.
Friend.
You were waiting in it. You were waiting in it. You were waiting for the days to come by till the next one so that you could mention that specifically. You've got it written down in front of you right now.
You thought you could catch me, haters, but I'm out here. So
I'm taking it out. I've taken it out. I'm a bad fan. I'm a bad fan. I'm a proper fair weather couch fan.
Yep.
I'll make up for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, please do.
Just bear in mind, I'm going to be staying with you for the next few weeks. So Santa might pay you
this guy.
Santa Claus might pay you an early visit.
I do not want. No, I'm not even going to joke.
All right.
It's recorded.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that was good. That was fun. Yeah. Can't wait for the game. Let's go.
Can't wait. All right.
Safe. I'll chat to you in a bit. Safe.
Bye.
Bye.